Gabby, go first.
My name is Gabrielle Barlow. I'm graduating from high school, and I'm not sure. I know I'm gonna take a trip in July.
Okay.
Mr. Taylor, graduating from high school and probably looking into nursing.
Michelle Spears, I'm graduating from high school and I plan to go to college.
Sarah Bradley, I graduated from the Baptist Bible Translators Institute and I'm going to go to Croatia, hopefully.
June 16th, we'll be going over Croatia for the internship.
That is what I do, graduated high school, and not sure what I want to do in college yet, but pretty sure to
Okay.
Riley or Rusty Musgrave. I guess graduated high school. We haven't, gotten the diploma yet, so we're still hoping. But plan on going to the Air Force.
Good deal. All right, so for tonight, we've got a few things. First thing we need to do. So we've been talking about, as we looked here, we need to remember not only that where we came from, but part of that, remember where we come from, we have to remember that we have been under authority. Okay? So, why don't you hold that for you three right here? Okay? You got it? Can you handle it? Good. Okay. Don't let anybody get wet. Where's the mask?
Got too close to
Okay, so you're under, when you're going up and when you're growing up, you are under authority. That God has placed you under an umbrella of authority in your home. That's the first place He places you under authority at. From the time that the doctor, does whatever he needs to do to make you cry. Some come out screaming and some need a little help. And so from that time in your life, all the way until now, you've been under your parents' authority. Whether you liked it or you didn't like it, you are under that authority up until this point. At this point in your life, now you've taken a step and you're going to be out from under their authority. And so we need to remember back when we know we've been under authority, and sometimes that's kind of a downer thing. That's something that you've thought about and you go, I don't like being under someone's authority. I've read in the Bible, and I've read Ephesians, and it says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Yeah. And I try to do that, but, they have no idea what they're talking about. Well, from here, you're going to learn they know what they're talking about. It's really what you're going to start learning from this moment, if you haven't already gotten some clues. So from here, you've been under that authority. You've also been under the authority of teachers and those in school, and you've had this authority over you to help you get through school, to help you say, you need to learn this. Don't lose it. And so they've been under authority. And right now, you almost think that that is being removed from you, and you are done with authority. You can now do what you want to do, live the way that you want to live, and be done with it all. Wrong. You will always be under authority.
Yep.
Because you will always be under God's authority. Okay? Any person in life that we would say, I'm out from being under authority, is headed for trouble. The protection, the umbrella, that which would keep us safe from the rain and from the outside elements would be removed from them, because you're removing yourself from authority just from the time in your life when you would go, my friends know better. You probably don't even ever say that, because that's not true. And you go out and you just do your own thing, and guess what? You probably got hurt. And it didn't work out so well, because you removed yourself from underneath the umbrella of authority that was in your life. When you stay under the umbrella, it's not about restrictions and being in bondage to them. It's about being under the protection of them. It's different. Now that you are going out in your life, God doesn't have rules in here to bind you. He has things in here to help protect you.
Amen.
And if you set this aside, which you can, but guess what? You're not going to have his protection. That's a scary thing for me, as someone who cares about you all. About you all. But you need to stay under the umbrella of protection, of authority of God. Don't lose sight of that.
Amen.
Let God always be your authority. You'll always stay under authority. Only that, you have to remember the past, but you can't live in it. You can never live in the past. There's people that want to always be and live in the past. Always want things to stay the same. Guess what? Things in your life right now, they're all changing. In each of your lives, things are now changing. Some you like, some you don't. Okay? It's nice to go and get my car and go into the store, right? That's fun. It's nice sometimes you go, I can make some of my own rules and take care of some of my own things. But there are other changes that aren't so much fun. Getting ready, maybe going to college or certain things where you're going, I'm going to have to step out of some things. These are a lot of decisions. These are weighty things. Direction of life and a lot of other things. Guess what? We can't live in the past. We can't stay in the past. Okay? You can't always live one day. Okay? You got it. It's nice. It's nice. Okay? Change happens. Changes happen all the way through your life. From the time you're a baby. Tell you what, there's more changes happen in the first year of life, and I think in almost all the rest of the years put together sometimes. It's crazy. But this is one of the other times in your life where there's so much change. Okay? Change isn't always bad. But you have to remember the lessons that you've learned from the past so that you can move forward to the future.
Yes.
Okay? So the first thing you have to do is remember where you came from. The second thing you have to do is build character. Build character. I brought the big hammer. I'm not giving this to you, sorry. I'm going to give it to Rusty here. We're going to build. We got to build character. Build with a hammer. Just a thought in mind, but here it says this, that he fed them according to the integrity of his heart. Listen, integrity is not something you are just born with. It's something you have to build. You have to build character. It's not just something that is within you. Because here, the first statement about David's performance as king is his integrity. It's not about his ability. It's not about how wise he is. It's not about how his military accomplishments, although he had great military accomplishments. I mean, could you say you defeated a giant? I can't say I defeated a giant. He had some great military accomplishments. But listen, the first thing that is said about his accomplishments of being a king, his performance, was about his integrity. His character that he had in his life was more important than what his ability was. More important than what he accomplished in his life, which would have been some sort of statements that could have been made. But it's not about what he did, it's about who he was. It was his character that was there. Integrity, dictionary definition here. Integrity, an unimpaired condition, a firm adherence to a code, especially a moral or I think I spelled that word wrong. Okay. Of moral values, the quality or state of being complete or undivided. Listen, somebody said it this way, integrity being the same inside and out. That there are no double standards or justifications. That everything that you do is from the same heart and that of integrity, that of truthfulness, that of not being one way at one time and another way at another time. It's the same, that I'm going to be the same. I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to treat people right and do it with the right type of moral values that need to be there. I tell you what, we live in a day in society, the moral values are not there's not great value put on moral values. That they say, you know, you can live how you want, you can do what you want. There's the family unit, the marriage as a moral value of being faithful and true is not high in their eyes. That of being honest, no matter what, and saying, I'm going to be honest and right in the way that I work and what I do, that's not, a lot of people don't hold that very high. Now, yes, the majority maybe of Americans in the working class would say, I hold that as a high thing. But they make any way that they can to justify the little things. Okay? It's integrity. Okay? I'm not saying that you're going to be perfect in all of your things. No, there may be times where you fail. But once again, it's about building character and building integrity. There may be times that you fail, but you acknowledge that, you repent of it, you take that responsibility, and you step back out doing what you ought to do is right. Character. Build that character in your life. Proverbs 4:23 says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Everything that you deal with is going to come from your heart. That's it. Everything you deal with is coming from your heart. You need to have a heart of integrity, not a heart of manipulation, not a heart of bitterness or hatred or selfishness. No, heart of integrity, of honesty and truthfulness, of character. Listen, you know how he says that build character. You know, have character. Don't be a character. Okay, that's not what it's all about. You know, it sounds like we come out of high school and everybody wants us just to be a character. You know, that's how I show who I really am. No, it's not. You know, don't be a Fruit Loop. Okay? You don't have to do that.
Yep.
Okay. Have character. Don't be a character. That's not how your individuality is seen and shown. Listen, character is built intentionally, one block at a time. Listen, when the building is built, they take the hammer. How many nails can you drive at one time with one hammer? Right. But that wouldn't really produce a whole lot trying to do 4 or 5 in one spot, would it? Thank you, Rusty. One is a good answer. One is good. One spot, one hammer, one nail. If you try to hit 2 at the same time, guess what? You're not going to hit them. You're not going to hit them right in the center. You're going to hit them square. You're going to hit it off. Which means one or both will probably bend and not be proper. Okay? Does it get hot up here? Tell me about it. Can't say they're freezing. It's hot up here. Yeah, all right, just saying. Just saying. Okay. One nail, one block, you have to build one at a time. That means you have to make intentional choices. And guess what? You don't build by hammering one nail and being done, do you? No. Hit one. Ha-ha. Done. Look at it. It's like, what? It's like, you didn't do anything. Anybody can do that. No, but to build a building, to build character, it's going to take consistency, one after another, after another, after another. That means you're going to have to have character and integrity in every decision you make. Amen. Consistently, one after another, after another, after another. Okay, that's how you build character. Okay? Build character in your life. Not only do you need to remember the past and stay under the authority, not only do you need to build character, but also you need to perfect your skills. It says this, he says, and guided them by the skillfulness of his hand. I'm going to get right behind you here. You got these two things. Okay. All right. Can you hold that? Don't lose it. Okay. Don't lose it. Okay. Now hold it where everybody can see it. Okay. If you can't see it, it's a coin. It's actually a coin that shows all the different armor of God. So it shows your helmet, your shield, your loins, the feet, the breastplate, and the sword. Yeah, I think there's one missing in there somewhere. So it shows all that, and to have the whole armor of God and to put on there. Really what I'm going to show this as tonight, I want you to think about this as a talent. You know, Jesus Christ, he had a parable. He talked about the talents. And he gave talents to some. He gave some 10, 1, 5, and 1. Did I get that right? No, 1, 1, 3,
Yeah.
5, I don't know. 10, 2, no, 5, 2, and 1. 5, 2, and 1. Okay, so he gave them that. So I'm going to want you to look at this. This is your 1. You've been given this talent. And it can represent 1, like on this side, or you can flip it over. And it can represent your 5. Okay, there you go. So you can have that. So you've got your talents that you've been given. Listen, God has given you talents. And in the parable that Jesus gave, he said, well, some they went and they invested their talents and they brought back and they ended up having more talents. The one that had 5 would now had 10. The one that had 2 then doubled that and had 4. And then the one that had 1, what did he do? You remember?
Buried it.
He dug a hole, he put it in the hole. I buried it. Buried it. I didn't lose it. That was his fear. I don't want to lose it. I buried it. So you got it when you come back. It's there. Right there. I'm not using it. I'm not touching it. It's there. I buried your talents. God has given each of you talents. God has given talents. He said, I want you to take your talent. Bury it. I don't want you to do that. I want you to take your talent. I want you to invest your talent. I want you to learn it with your talent. I want you to take that talent. I want you to be better with it. I want you to be skillful with it. I want you to learn. I want you to grow. I want you to be able to do your best with it. So that tomorrow it won't be just 1. It won't just be 2. It won't just be 5. It'll be more than that. Because you've learned and you've grown in the talents that I have given you. Don't bury your talents. God has given you so much talent. David led God's people with skillful hands. He learned how to lead sheep. He learned how to protect sheep. He learned all these skills that he needed. And even as he goes before Saul, when he's going up against Goliath, he says, a lion and a bear came. What did he do? He killed him. He took him by the beard and said, no. Slapped him around a little bit and said, get out of here. Yeah. Don't mess with me. No, he used his skills and he learned the skill of a sling. He learned how to use the rod and the staff properly with the sheep and with the enemies. And in each of the pieces that he had, he practiced and he worked over and over and over again. He didn't know he'd be facing a giant. He knew he would be facing an enemy, though. An enemy that wanted to devour something that was put under his care. Listen, you have talents that God has given you. You don't know what you're going to be facing, but you will be facing. Use your talents and grow your talents to be skillful with your talents, to learn those things. And so learn how to and perfect your skills that God has given you. Amen. People may be natural born leaders, but they still need to learn and perfect those skills. People that are around and they say, man, they're just a leader. And you can see it in grade school, you can see it in high school. You're like, they're a leader. You know what I've seen with a lot of that? It's a lot of potential. And a lot of it's never realized. You know why? Because they go on what they've been given and they do nothing to grow it. They bury it. They try to ride out as long as they can on what they currently have. And that's it. Don't do that. Perfect your skills. Learn and grow in it. You know how this is done? This is done by not settling for good, but striving for best. The word is mediocrity. And somebody give me a definition of mediocrity. I know, this is your test. You can't get your diploma until you give me this. No, just kidding. I don't have that authority. You're like, what? Mediocrity. What's that? No, not quite. What's that? Yeah, that's exactly right. Mediocrity. Settling for less than the best.
Yes.
Settling for less than what you can do. We get the word mediocre. Yeah, it's just, the job was done, well, it was just mediocre. It was kind of done, but not really done all the way. And that's the thing. We live in a society that just wants to, we go and we do things, or people go and do, and they just do a mediocre job. Well, it's good enough for the boss that I currently have, or it's good enough for this or that. And guess what? The people who settle for mediocrity or live with mediocrity as their motto, we would say, is the people that go, it's good enough. Now, there's a certain time that you go, this is the best I can do, and it has to be good enough. Now, that's different. There are sometimes we are limited into certain things, and those limits will eventually hit a wall. Okay? But we don't have to be down on ourselves because we've hit the wall of what our limits are, of where the talents stop. But what we can do is take it to that place, to do our best. And that's what we need to do. Listen, don't settle for good enough. Don't settle for that. Shoot for the best. Strive for the best. You can turn over to Colossians chapter 23, or chapter 3, verses 23 and 24. We could read. Colossians 3:23 says this, and whatsoever you do it heartily as to the Lord, and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ. In all of your life, no matter where life sends you and where you go, I hope that you remember this one thing. You do not serve your boss. You do not serve the people around you. You serve Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Think that's who you serve. Okay? You may have a boss at one point, and they are just the worst boss ever to work for. They don't communicate properly. They jump all over my case for nothing. I try to do everything I can for them, and all I get is a mouthful right back at me. Yeah? Have you had them yet? You probably will at one point or another. You can have a boss like that. I mean, Sarah had a boss like that. Oh, yes. You know, she has that. So y'all know what I'm talking about. You can have that time, but you have to remember you're not serving that person. You're not doing your best so that for that person. You have to do your best for God. That's who you're serving. You're serving your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And that should help us and motivate us to do our best. Do it heartily as to the Lord, not unto men, because that's who we're serving. So no matter what you do in life, do your best. Listen, the road ahead will be complex. There may even be times when you actually wish for days when things were easier and you had limited responsibilities like, oh, it'd be better just to go back to the middle school. Yeah. You're not there yet. You're like, I remember the drawing, no way. But maybe one day, you know what? I don't want all the responsibilities. All the things that are asked of me and put upon me, those are just hard. Some days may be like that. Listen, there will be twists and turns that you will never and can never anticipate. Your life is going one way, and it will turn in a weird way. It's like a weird plot of a movie. And you just go, I never saw that coming. You ever watch a movie like that? Man, it's crazy. It blows your mind. I never saw that coming. Listen, life will sometimes do that to you. I never saw that coming. It'll twist and it'll turn. But when they come, you'll have to decide how you handle them. But I want to give you some good news tonight. You never have to handle them alone. So the last one is the Bible. When David came from the sheepfolds, he used integrity and skill as a king, the result was always the result of God working in his life. Here's the verse. 1 Samuel 16:13 says, Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. Listen, God will guide you. God wants to guide you. His desire is to guide you. Where David messed up is where he stopped listening to God's guidance in his life. Where David was successful is where he did listen to God's guidance in his life. Each of you have these things, and I want you to have these skills. I want you to remember you're under authority always. I want you to remember you need to build integrity and be consistent in your character and decisions to build the character. I want you to know that you've been given talent and to build those skills. But all of that has to come from right here. All of that has to come from the Word of God. That it's through God that is guiding and is the authority in your life. He's the one that's giving you the wisdom to know the right character and what to build. He's helping you be skillful in exactly the way He wants you to learn and grow. And it's all given right out of the Word of God. Because that's what these need in their life. That's what you all need in your life. Because without the Word of God, without God's leading and guiding you every step of the way, He's given us this as an instruction manual. We need to listen to it. We need to follow it. Because we can say, well, I want all these skills. But if we leave out the Word of God, we're not going to have any of these.
Right. Yeah.
We won't have any of them. We're going to put down the authority of God because we're not listening to God. And we don't want to listen to God. We're going to put down the hammer and not build character. No, we're going to let the ease of life take our direction. And guess what? It will lead to fleshly and sinful things. It's going to be here, and we're going to have talents, but we're just going to bury it. Throw it down. There you go. We're just going to bury it. We're going to leave it alone. We're going to try to ride out whatever we have in our talent. Guess what? It won't get us very far. Because eventually it'll be shown that you haven't done anything with it. Listen, everything hinges on the Word of God. God's guiding and leading and working in each of your lives is where all of it comes from. God has chosen you. God has chosen you for a purpose that He has for you. He does. Okay? So, these things are essential for this life that God has for you. He wants you to use these things. So the question is, what are you going to do with them? You're going to put them away? You're going to put it down? You're going to forget all that you learned in your past? Are you going to put down the Word of God and not seek it? Are you not going to build integrity? Are you just going to leave your talent buried on the floor? Well, I'm good enough now. No, you're not. You're at the precipice. You're at the start of your learning life. Start. I know, you think you know it all. You don't. You don't. You're beginning. What would be the story of David? He was sitting in the field. He needed to be working. He needed to be taking care of his responsibility. He needed to be perfecting his skill. He needed to do that which was right, integrity. Taking care of the sheep would be building integrity. That day, he knew he was under the authority of his dad. But he sits there, and he goes, everybody got called to the house but me. Oh, woe is me. I'm not going to do anything. Where's my phone? I'm just going to waste time. Do whatever I want. Oh, a lion, whatever. They can have one. Dad wouldn't expect me. A lion? I mean, come on, really? It's a lion. Dad wouldn't. No. It's a lion. I mean, really? No. He didn't sit back. He didn't take the easy road of life. No. He used the integrity that he had in his heart and the responsibility that he had in the sheep under the authority that had been placed over him from his dad. All because of the way God had taught him. And the talent that had been given, that he had built those skills, and he went and he took care of business.
Yeah.
He stood before Goliath and he took care of business.
Amen.
He led a nation that God had chosen him to lead, and he did it with integrity and skillfulness. That's the story I want for each of your lives. God has chosen you for a purpose. It may not be to lead a nation. would be scared if it was. No, I'm not with you. But I do know God's chosen you for a purpose. And what I don't want to see in your life is that purpose not fulfilled, because essentials that God can teach you and show you, you've set aside. Don't set these things aside. Hold on to them. I didn't share with you some magic formula for life. It will not make the way, it will not make everything in your life go your way. It will not keep you from experiencing heartache, disappointment, hardship. But you know what it will do? It'll ground you and make you in tune in your relationship with the one who has control of all things. And that's God. Amen. That's what it'll do for your life. Remember where you came from. Remember you're under authority. Build your character. Develop your skills. The talent you've given, you pick it up. Do all that under God's direction from the Word of God. That's my desire. That's life's essentials. Amen. For those that are chosen. Let's pray. Father, thank you for the time.